Hey, today I wanted to talk about consumption, in particular, social media and internet consumption. So, by starting kind of this journey of documenting my study as well as building this community, there's a really strong social contract that plays in my mind. And thus, I believe that even though this is not true, what I say holds more value because there's more attention, right? And this fact alone kind of makes me more aware and more careful of how I spend my time. Before, when I was just a viewer, I would carelessly just consume whatever content that caught my attention. And I wasn't really thinking more upon that. I was just consuming because it gave me instant gratification, and I was pretty much a slave to the algorithm. But by being in a different perspective now, in a different shoe, I feel like my lens has kind of shifted, and now kind of I understand and admire a creator's perspective because I feel like creators are truly focused on building their craft and are really careful individuals. This may not be all, but from what I'm experiencing and just assumptions, it seems like creators are more careful and more aware of their time. And I have to really be careful of what I picked in consuming because, for example, if I watch a random clip, maybe during my focus studies, it really does play a big factor. Maybe I watch a video of a gorilla just dancing, and that video, it could be 10 seconds long, but now it's just on an infinite loop, and I really can't stop playing it. Maybe I add more stuff, more imagination towards it, and constantly fuel it. I don't really understand how my mind gravitates and can put a limit on that. But if I do consume, then it really does get embedded somewhere in my RAM storage of my mind. And that's what I've been experiencing and I want to share is that every single person who has the ability to use the internet should be kind of aware of the system itself. They should be aware of how, for example, YouTube, as well as Instagram, TikTok, so any social media, as well as blogs and most things on the internet, its main goal is to crave your attention because that's how a lot of a lot of this content is monetized, right? Your attention is valuable, and thus if you are not really thinking about that and just mindlessly consuming, then it really does play a detriment in the long run. I feel like maybe in the short term you don't realize it, but now I'm slowly beginning to understand that I gotta be more aware of how I spend my time as well as what I consume. And there's no really true guideline of how to use the internet. I never got a guideline along getting a phone of, oh, these are social media apps, they're very addictive and you have to be careful. Yeah, but I wasn't aware of that. It's through experience as well as understanding. I feel like people are sharing their stories of how these platforms kind of prey upon people that do not have self control and they take advantage of our brain chemicals, how it's structured. For example, serotonin, dopamine, all those chemicals are highly engaged when we consume. And TikTok, for example, it shows content in a very short medium, which makes it even easier for instant gratification. And thus, I just want to spread, to be aware of the system, and instead of consuming, because consumption truly, when I was consuming as a perspective, as a, this was only a couple months ago, I still am struggling with it. It's it's really important to consume something that genuinely interests you and be aware of it. I'm not stating, oh, you have to spend your time productively, you have to use your time to only consume healthy stuff. That's not what I mean. The goal is to make sure you're aware. I just want you to be mindful of the system, because if you're not, what's truly scary is not being aware of the system and just being a product, or truly a slave to it, and just another statistic, that was a big realization. And of course I'll probably learn a lot more throughout this journey of understanding how to use the internet properly, or in a better way, in a more healthier way. But I just wanted to share that as my kind of perspective has changed, I feel like this is much different than my perspective I held before. So yeah, just be aware of the system and question truly everything and be skeptical, because at times I feel like whatever you consume, the algorithm just pushes you with similar content. I feel like it's really important that as the internet progresses, there's a medium or a middle ground where we could see both the whole picture, the both good and the bad. And I'm probably experiencing this too. Maybe I'm only consuming a certain type of content. I'm watching quite a lot of tech and intriguing videos about just the world in terms of like documentaries, just wild video. I have a wide range of interest that I'm exploring, and there's just so much things. But I feel like if I consume only one part or one ideology, it's really dangerous, because then you get fixated upon that and it reinforces itself. And that's what was such a huge problem for me when I had my very fixed mentality that I thought the system was rigged. Within the education system, I thought rich people were always going to be better in life. The system is lean toward rich people. I had this really hard, concrete belief that I was disadvantaged and had the victim mentality. And now I fear that. I really do fear that, and fear going back to it. And I know I could adopt that mentality, because it's really easy, and I could see so many ways to reinforce that. But truly, I want to be a victor, not a victim. And I want to at least, fight for something that I believe in, rather than not giving a fight at all. So, yeah, these are some of the thoughts that's going in my mind at the moment, and I wanted to share them with you. So yeah, be aware, question everything, and truly be curious and explore your curiosities, whatever they may be, because they're truly important, and it makes you unique in that aspect as well. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Peace.